My friends, I hope you're doing fantastic. I am excited being here with you. And as the habit dictates, I have a recommendation for you a book to read from author C. Brooks, From Strength to Strength. And I got it from a friend of mine a while back. It's about finding success, happiness, and deep purpose in the second half of life. I am heading towards the second half of my life. So if you're on the younger side, you might wait a little. But as I used to say, it's never too late to read something. It might be better to be earlier than too late, to be really honest. So if you can read it, revisit it, have fun. Here is, sun is shining, the mood is bright, and I want to use this opportunity as well to kind of bring in the elephant in the room, which is mastering the art of change, if you will, and how to adapt to the continuous change. It is a tough topic, and I will not pretend right off the bat that I right off my back that I have things figured out. I feel that in almost 4 decades, I had the time to think about my life and think about how I'm approaching life. And big thing why I feel generally like a little bit more steady in how I approach my life is because I follow this notion of go slower and be patient with the process. And, especially now, if you look out, I feel the media is a little bit all over the place. People are drawn to drama and scrolling, and all of these things kind of blur the real truth, which is hidden somewhere inside of us, which is our wisdom, our character. And I also decided this year a little bit more to be more consistent with my writing. And because over the last, 5 years, I have published multiple ebooks, and I feel like in today's world, it is really needed for us to consume this growth oriented content. And growth oriented, I mean content that actually betters you as a leader, that gives you a little bit more some substance to fall back on in these times. So these strategic concepts remind you to keep going in the times which are tough. And sometimes it's personal health. Sometimes you are really dedicated to the cause, you're really striving, you have it all dialed in, but yet you get sick, or your personal loved one and relationship get sidetracked just because you didn't maybe invest the time in the relationship that you had in front of you the whole time, and you got swayed by job that was more demanding. And it's all okay and good, but what really happens is, especially as we adapting and now in today's chaos a little bit, if you will, it's really about recognizing the distractions. And I feel the truest test of our character lies in recognizing these distractions. And one thing that I learned a lot is from different cultures. I grew up in Eastern Europe, and then also a period of time I was living in the West, in the Netherlands and Spain. And the Dutch, especially, I feel, are really masters in adapting to different cultures. And because you have a lot of different cultures living in the Netherlands generally, so they are more open-minded. The kids, when they grow up, they foster this relationships to different things, and having their own confident relationship, and whether that's business or personal life, that I feel it can help a lot people to adapt. The second thing is obviously Eastern Europe, and I feel that generally you can learn a lot from Eastern Europeans because we were historically really in tough situations politically, but also the whole mindset is a lot on hard work and character, and really you have less opportunities, if you will. Maybe doesn't apply to everybody depending where you're from, but how I grew up, that's how it was. And you need to do more with little. And the third, what I kind of want to bring to your attention, is the American kind of confidence, which I feel is the number one skill in the world that we can all learn from here in the West. And I mean, the Dutch, I think, also very confident, and people generally in Europe are confident. But if you think what drives success is really confidence, and it's really having the guts to figure things out. And therefore, I have these four things for you today prepared, because I feel if we go back to what really matters in today's world, it's adapting in crisis. And we had that in the great pandemic, right? In COVID, where companies were struggling, you had people who were in home curfew locked up, and they used it really well. They reflected, they did extra sport, and they found a way to build themselves up. And then you had the other ones, the other group who complained. And then you imagine this workforce goes back to the office, and then you have those who the companies have to adapt because the employees maybe want more, or the employees themselves actually need to adapt because the market is shifting. And I feel since then, the last 5 years, and I had a discussion about this in another group that I'm leading called the Business Future Mastermind. And we really quickly found that a lot of these folks, and I feel that that's a little bit what's happening out there. And that's why I want to give you these 4 points so you can also little bit use it, whether you feel like you're a little bit aimless right now or you're going through this transition. That many people are really aimless in life. And that's because they don't really sit down strategically to think where they want to be and somehow let it happen, and maybe didn't use their time effectively in COVID, and or generally what's happening about them. They don't read books like this or study a little bit where the market is heading and preparing their skills to get ahead. And that's what is needed in today's time. First, you obviously have to think where you want to go yourself, and then look at what you're doing right now and if it's adding to where you want to go. So that sometimes means starting some workshop, doing some, attending workshops, studying some skills, attending courses, but also just talking to people maybe who are more well-rounded than you to teach you to think differently. And I feel that's also what we need in today's time, a little bit like Adam Grant talks about, reinventing the wheel, and not necessarily what we know, but just putting the right puzzles together. Because I feel like we don't struggle with knowledge. All of these books are available. It's more about consistency, right? It's more about the doing and more about figuring out what is your path that works for you and where you want to go in the future. And I feel many people now are a little bit on this crossroad where, myself included, again, I said at the start of this recording, I don't have things figured out. But one thing that helped me a lot in my life is being humble. And humility is something that helped me a lot to go far, to be open and willing to learn from people who are smarter than me, maybe older, but even younger people, and surrounding myself with different type of characters and different type of people from different countries. And that's what I would encourage you a lot. And I know you have that if you live maybe in the US, but if you live in Europe like I do, you have people from different countries with different backgrounds, and people really underestimate the difference we have here on such a small continent, if you will. And you can learn so much from that. And when my partner, about 8 years ago, kind of encouraged me to travel, and my big first travel was to the Philippines, I was blown away because, I thought, yeah, I've lived in different countries in Europe and I learned a lot from that. But generally, when I, saw the Filipinos just walking around in flip-flops, t-shirts, and shorts, swimming shorts, and they were happy, right? And if you look here in the West, people generally, at least the sign says, the Netherlands, Denmark are the happiest countries. But if you look a little bit outside that, it's this, everybody's walking with serious face and everybody's on their mission. And it's all right and good because we obviously substituted this whole mindset of little is enough for I want more and more money, more fame, more everything. And this insatiable hunger for external stuff, we kind of switched for what really matters is building, and these 4 points that I want to give you for really building character. And as we are transitioning to these 4 points, I'm going there just in a second. I want to really strike this with you home. We need daily inspiration, and not just scrolling on Instagram, but really genuinely deciding who you're gonna follow and who will be your light when things go sideways, because things will always go sideways. That's the reason why I decided to take on this challenge with myself, to write these articles, to shoot these videos, to get better as a communicator, read more books that are related to my craft, and putting my things out there and my thinking out there. And that doesn't mean that I'm always right, but genuinely, I feel that the nuts and bolts in life I have figured out, and that the direction I'm going, I know it might change, but it's really about being a decent human being and respecting others, adding value to others. And it's really just what we all have in common, right? If you look at these different cultures, as I mentioned, there are things we have in common, but there are things we don't have in common. And what we have in common, and I use the word like 3 times now, is humanity. We are humans, right? Hunter gatherers, we developed from hunter gatherers for, from the last 100,000 years, and we forged, and everything took time. And that's the first point I want to give you. The first strategy, guys, I want to give you: the way of the turtle. Back to the point with hunter gatherers. Now, what really reigns in the world, and that's, I feel, my humble theory, why things going so wrong sometimes, is because it's all this gratification, self-indulgence gratification, me, media, and of course, drama. People are drawn, we all are drawn to drama. We talk about, we gossip sometimes. And all of this actually adds to this whole soup of what's happening out there. And instead, when people realize that, just like hunter gatherers had to develop into who we are today, over the 100,000 years, it took time, right? The number itself, 130,000 years, the time itself says it took a lot of time. And this concept, the way of the turtle, I started using a while back because in COVID, actually, I came up with it, and I started writing articles on Medium. So if you go on Medium and medium.com and look for the way of the turtle, you should come up, or a few articles should come up. And it was really about striving, life, and performance. And I feel that's exactly what's happening in the world. A little bit this quick over-counter medication. And we forget that things take actually genuinely time. And that's also back to the concept of aimlessness. If you feel aimless, sometimes it's really about stepping back and thinking, what am I grateful for that I have accomplished so far? Because even the landscape is changing. AI is actually now entrenched in our daily lives. ChatGPT and Copilot, and in the future, most likely, a lot of things will be outsourced to AI, and we have AI coaches. And so there's a lot of potential with this, and it shouldn't scare us. It should encourage us to really dig deeper and double down on the things that matter, right? Human development. We can work faster and develop faster when we know what we want. And this is the hardest part, because it shifts, right? We go through transitions, and what worked maybe for the last decade might not work anymore in the next decade, just because things have evolved. The rules of the game has changed. And the people we used to hang out with, we don't hang out with anymore, because they moved, or we moved, or we are in different phases of different lives. And often that's why relationships, and I will talk about it in the future as a one point, relationships matter. But the most challenging things I see out there is that relationships are now very hard to maintain, just because we forget to recognize that people are in different phases of their lives. And it's not just about the age group, but if you were, and I heard actually Mel Robbins talking about this, and really love how she was describing it. When we were in a college, this whole great gathering was happening. Everybody had the same goals. We went to same classes, and we did the same things. And then after high school, everybody moved out, right? One moves to Kansas, and another moves to Texas. And then suddenly people are not anymore and part of the pie. They are part of different things. So sometimes we beat ourselves up so hard. And that's also why I feel that we lost a little bit of this understanding for one another, and we are so focused on ourselves. And it's not just because we want to self-indulge and we are so focused on ourselves, because generally I really believe human beings are good. our planet is still here. Yes, we have some political challenges. Yes, we have some wars. Yes, we have, climate challenges, but we are still here. And most of the people are good. Otherwise, probably we would long ago blew up the planet. The thing is, we really need to acknowledge that people are on their own timeline, and matching these timelines can be hard. But when we go back to the first concept, the way of the turtle, it's really what I said I learned in the COVID. It's things take time. Sometimes things indescribable and unexpected happen in your life, and you cannot put words to it, and you're like, how couldn't I see that coming? That layoff, that change. And yes, we should be prepared. And I encourage you, all of us actually, to take our life a little bit more retrospectively. And that's why I was talking about journaling and friends, and having in this constant transition in our lives, having this perspective of I can actually figure things out. It really starts with your mindset. And that's also part of the mindset, then saying, okay, I know that smooth waters never made a skilled sailor. It's really the rough waters that make skilled sailors or skilled sailors. So the way of the turtle is the same concept. You just need to go and know that life will take time. You will take time to develop your skills. You will change. And that you will, with your belief system and with your mindset and your attitude, you can figure things out. With that also goes the second point that I already hinted at: learn from other cultures. And I don't want to spend too much time on this one because I already kind of gave you the nuts and bolts. But what I really want to reinstate here is we underestimate how much other people have already done and how much actually effort they maybe put already in one area. And I know I still make this mistake over and over again because I just like to create stuff. I'm a creator. You too, maybe you raise your hand if you're a creator. And sometimes although I have read a lot of books, I still try to create my own stuff, and maybe that's just my self-expression. But we should really make it part of our lives to learn from different cultures, and that's why I would encourage you also to travel. And if you are fortunate, like I am in my life, and thanks to my partner, and I was fortunate already before, but haven't seen it from this perspective, how fortunate we really are when we visit the Costa Rica or Samoa or Australia, just some places where usually you wouldn't go, or maybe go one time in your life, or just like the Philippines for me. And it opens your mind to different perspective. And you really, as I said, and that's the core message of everything I probably record in these videos. Sometimes it's maybe more aggressive and more energy, sometimes it's more calm, but it's all about humility. Humility paired with confidence. You need to build your life as you want, but you should center it around of learning from other human beings. Build your tribe, build your mastermind. And if you don't have one, join different masterminds like mine or somebody else's, and be really the guy who makes other people better. The third thing that I want to say, especially in these great transformation, is go back to the basics. It's about health, it's about family, and it's about personal growth. Health, family, and personal growth. It sounds really straightforward, and many people shout it out of the rooftops there, but what's common knowledge is not common practice. And I see it now as well because I have friends, quite, intense friends who are really athletes and who push the envelope and still maybe overdo it. You want to be somewhere in middle between, and that's what I feel high performance really is. It's really sustained effort over a long period of time while maintaining, your wellness and relationships. And that's pretty much what Brandon Burchard says about, definition of high performance. And I think he probably is now by far the guy who really has evolved and created all these high performance studies and runs different, groups, etc. So think about how you can in your life, kick your workaholism habit a little bit in the butt and start thinking about your family again. I'm talking about this not just because I think it's a hot topic, but because I have gone through this myself and still go in some periods of time where it's intense, and I forget, just like anybody else, that what really matters is family, it's health, and it's really focusing on just generally myself, right? The future and growth. And Tony Robbins said it many times through on different pundits and gurus. Growth is really coming through progress. And sometimes we underestimate that, especially in times like now when things are a little bit shaken in the politics and there is high inflation and the job market is a bit all over the place, and maybe even at your work you don't know where is it going. It's really easy to just sit back and do nothing and just observe and hope for the best. And I was never a fan of this big strategy, although I guess I became better because I was a little bit on the doing too much maybe sometimes and too many things. But deciding that you will double down on the things when things go sideways, like your health, like your relationship, like your personal growth, those things are universal strategies that will never go away in the next 10 years. Even if AI takes over and we have, other things that are happening, we will have to evolve with it. But just working on yourself, working on your health, especially now, if you think about it, most likely the average health extension now is possible by 26 years, at least in some parts of the world. And if you think about it, that you are 26 years younger, it's amazing. You have still way more to do. But the thing is, fulfilling your time marginally, it's not just about the next hour where everybody, when we are so much focused on the short term that we forget to think about long term. We forget to think about death, our deathbed, who we want to have around. And really the big pictures, the big elephant questions in a room, like, who I care about, who I should develop relationships with. Yes, I will get to the relationship. But think about it, your health, how is your health? How is your personal growth? Are you really doing the bare minimum at least every week for yourself? And that's why videos like this, please share it with a couple of your friends if you can, or just your favorite author, and really move the needle for yourself, so that every week you have the reason to think like, okay, I'm actually listening to something that makes me feel better. Because when you feel better, then your determination increases. That means also your focus increases. So when you feel bad, your health is bad, then obviously your focus is on health and you should get your health back on track. This thing is also with family, you don't want to neglect your family. Many people in today's society have just 5 friends because they never forge more relationships, and they are so focused on career. And when they need actually their friends, when they need help, when they need advice, the people are not there. And then going to somebody and asking for help when you don't know them, it's maybe harder, and those people maybe will not be willing to help you so quickly because they don't know you. So it's all about opportunity cost, and many people really neglect relationships. So I will get there finally because I was itching. Relationship should be relationships matter. And what we do here, it's building a relationship, right? There will be some people who know me, maybe like my mom watched this, or my friend, or my girlfriend, or some of my acquaintances. But there will be people, most of you, who don't know me and who think like, who's this guy mumbling, rumbling? And we need to really think about relationship again, especially in these times of transitions. It's really easy, as I said, to forget about relationships because we are so focused on surviving. We are so much focused on getting through, and we are reacting. Just like if you're on a savannah or somewhere in Africa and puma is chasing you and you're a gazelle, you're probably not going to be thinking about building your strategy and future for life. And that's why, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how you are, you have to be always thinking strategically about the next decade of your life. You have to be strategically thinking about the next 2 decades of your life. It doesn't mean that it will exactly happen as you predict and as you think about it, but better you take the reins of life and drive it at least towards the imaginable direction you want to go, so the desired direction, than to direction where life throws you. And I don't say that it's possible in every area of your life or my life. It sometimes just happens, right? Sometimes you end up in a company and you're lucky that you ended up there, and you never thought that a culture will be like that. Or you dated a partner, just like in my case, met my partner through Tinder. Never thought I would meet such an incredible woman through Tinder. But that's possible. Everything possible. And that's, I think, the beauty. That's the other kind of fifth point that I don't have kind of written down here, but I have for you. Just have faith a little bit. I feel that in, whether you're religious or spiritual, I think, and that's also the book that, Arthur C. Brooks talks about. Many people actually, as they get older, they become a little bit more spiritual, and maybe the reason is just because you've seen a lot of mess. Oh, we all have, and we all have gone through hardships, right? That's not gonna go away, and I think that's the beauty thing. And the beauty of it, if you realize actually things really take time to develop. Quality takes time. Relationships take time, and that's why many people give up too early. So I would encourage you with this video, be the turtle. Be the person who doesn't give up, who keeps going and tries to persevere when others actually already had it. You can do it. You're stronger than you think. And I really believe in the future really is more brighter for all of us than we think. It just needs the perspective. We just need to invest in the right things. And relationships is one of them. So think, what 5 friends you have now and what 5 new friends you should develop this year, so that in the next, 5 years, those people are there for you. You never know what will happen. People die, people move. But we should really prioritize that, because everything else, like success, like happiness, like our own self-worth and esteem, can grow with it when we have the right people in our life. And I know this is the old same old that many people, as I said, shout from the rooftops, but I feel these nuances of the necessity of having these people underestimate. It's not just having people for the sake of it, it's having the right people, and really growing the tribe, also because you want to make an impact in the world. And I believe you're a person of impact, and that's why you need to grow your character. And character comes with toughness and overcoming obstacles, making hard choices, and becoming a better human being, while leading with humility. So it sounds all fancy pantsy and like reading from a book, but in the end, you have to make it yours, right? And that's why I want to challenge you as well in the next week. And in the next weeks, if you think about how you transition in these different things in your company, maybe needing to go to get a promotion, start preparing for that. Start asking the right questions. Start thinking, okay, what do I need to do in order to get a promotion in 6 months? Talk to your manager and say, what do I need to do to get better, and to have a promotion? Or want to move country, then what, do the research. You want to maybe change industry, start applying, be the person of action. Don't think too much, and then analyze, run these experiments, and constantly check your value in the market, check your value in terms of how well are you actually positioned out there. And the best kind of metric for this is how other people talk about you when you're not there, or how they generally, your friends, tell you what they think you think and who you are and how they perceive you. So use this metric. If you need more encouragement, I would challenge you to, or encourage you as well, and challenge you, because I love challenges, like not drinking alcohol for a month. Try that. I actually had a discussion with a friend about prioritization, my friend Timo Bethlehem, and we had one episode, I think in November. You can find it on Spotify under the Fit Fun podcast, and then navigate to the episode Prioritization Part 1 with Timo Bethlehem. We will be shooting the second one actually quite soon. And that's where also, if you want some extra tips and tricks, sign up for the Shots of Inspiration, where you can get maybe the video like this and some other community. And I'm also recommending some extra tools and some new initiatives like I'm launching very soon, which is the Resilient Optimist. And that could be also very interesting for you, maybe. If you feel like you're striving by yourself, I would really encourage you as well to connect on LinkedIn with me, because that's probably where you find me the most. And if you need like this daily inspiration, I usually share from other people or something that I found myself very helpful. Like for a period of time, I was writing reviews, I think for a year, about books I have read, called The Fright and Wisdom. So now I don't post anymore that the books, because it's quite time consuming. But generally, if you need any support and encouragement, just ping me, because I'm usually quite easily reachable there. And until the next time, please stay awesome, stay legendary, and remember to stay humble, foolish, and demanding of the higher standards of yourself. Be better. Try to be better this year than you were last year. And not just because you want to show off, but because you want to be able to adapt and actually cruise through those times. Because I think it's good that now we can really live in these abundant times. And yes, sometimes people are lazy, and sometimes people are spoiled that we have doctors, that we have such a great healthcare system. But on the other hand, we worked really hard for it, and there are many people who work hard for it. So appreciate it, cherish it, and don't use it as an excuse not to work hard on yourself. So then when times change, when industry change, economy doesn't work, you can pivot, you can change, you can shift. Until the next time, my friends, stay legendary. I'm really proud of you, and I want to thank you again from bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching this. Maybe you just skimmed through it and you just found a part that really spoke to you. But at the same time, finding success, happiness, and meaningful relationships take time. And it's not just as you see out there and the shiny cars and purses and houses and external accolades. Those things matter the least. What really matters is how you are on your deathbed, and do you have people actually that care about you. And that's why focus on developing those things, spending time, in the evening with your family, and maybe watching a movie instead of, pounding the keyboard like a crazy gorilla, like I do in the evening. And really realize that life is short, and life needs your heroism. And heroism, sometimes it's the easy thing. It's not always just laying your life for others. It's just finishing on time at work and spending time with your family and being a good example, being a good dad, good mom. The last thing that I would ask you, that I asked before, please, if you like this, share it with 3 of your friends. I'm trying now my best and improving these experiences for you. If you see something that you like and there is a topic that really speaks to you, let me know. I can definitely do some research for you, or shoot a video directly around this topic. I had it a few times. Because more people see this and more people can resonate with this better. So until the next time, thank you, my friends, and stay legendary and awesome.